In the top stories, Prime Minister Harris calls for more support in the fight against HIV/AIDS. 3 men charged for a 2013 murder. And Jamaica imposes water restrictions to prevent reservoirs from running dry. Good afternoon and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. I'm Jason Davis. Prime Minister, the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris, has urged policymakers and practitioners in the region to find the formula for scaling up investments in treatment and prevention that would make the greatest difference in the fight against HIV/AIDS. Dr. Harris was speaking at the Caribbean launch of the UNAIDS Lancet Commission report, Defeating AIDS, Achieving Global Health. This took place on Friday in Barbados. He said this required targeting the marginalized populations and those most at risk of the HIV infection, securing long-term supplies of affordable antiretroviral treatment, providing accurate and up-to-date epidemiological data for the region, and disseminating them in a timely manner to shape policy. Dr. Harris argued that the region must continue to press for breaking down the barriers of discrimination in funding HIV and other diseases that are based solely on the criteria of middle and upper middle income status. This, he said, must be accompanied by supporting access to affordable medicine as a human right and demanding that HIV and sustainable health be considered priorities. In this regard, Dr. Harris called for the scaling up of funding by building on the model of the Global Fund for AIDS, TB, and malaria and applying it to integrated and sustainable health in the post-2015 era. He also called on the states in the region to take the bold step and consider the establishment of a Caribbean Health and Equity Fund. After 2 years of investigation, the police force has arrested and charged 3 men in connection with the 2013 murder of Sheldon Cannonier, better known as Sword, Kimo Fleming of Carden Avenue, Vance Thomas of College Street Gut, and Sylvester Crossley of Fort Thomas Road were formally arrested and charged for the murder of Cannonier. All 3 were remanded to Her Majesty's Prison. According to a police statement, every lead was followed upon for the last 2 years, providing evidence to formally arrest and charge the 3 men. The head of the Violent Crimes Unit, Superintendent Mitchell, has thanked all who were instrumental in the investigation and said he hoped that this arrest will bring some sort of satisfaction and comfort to the family members, friends, and community. Meanwhile, in other police news, Mark Anthony Price, the brother of reggae star Bounty Killer, has had his day in court to answer charges of larceny after he reportedly stole a phone at the Robert L. Bradshaw International Airport. Price was in the federation with Bounty Killer and his entourage, who performed at the 19th annual St. Kitts Music Festival. According to a police report, they were all at the airport making preparations to leave the federation when the incident occurred. On Monday, the 30th of June, Price was taken before the District A Magistrates Court on the charge of larceny. He pleaded guilty to the charge and apologized to the virtual complainant. His counsel also apologized on behalf of Bounty Killer to the complainant, the airport authorities, the St. Kitts Music Festival Committee, the police, and the people of St. Kitts Nevis, whom this act has embarrassed. Price paid a $3,000 fine and was released. On the regional scene, UWP Senator Mary Isaac has warned the St. Lucia government that if public servant Gina Cornell is victimized for showing an interest in entering the political arena with the United Workers' Party, the next general election in the country will be shut down. Cornell is a public servant for the government who has publicly expressed her interest in the Gros Lake constituency seat, which for the last 3 general elections has been represented by Leonard Spider Monteith. Isaac says Cornell is exercising her constitutional right as a citizen of St. Lucia and no one will be allowed to infringe upon it. The UWP senator assured Cornell that the union is standing behind her and that any attempt to victimize her will result in the shutting down of the country.
Said they cannot victimize her. Victimizing Gina at this point would be victimizing a lot of other people in the country because the union is standing behind her over 100%, and if there is any victimization in any shape or form, if we have to shut this country down so that this country can wake up and smell the coffee, we are going to do it. But nobody is going to victimize Gina just because she has decided to exercise her human right.
Meanwhile, Isaac believes her recent resignation from the post of Acting General Secretary of the Civil Service Association places her in a better position to speak on matters affecting the country. And on to Jamaica, where the National Water Commission says the water in its storage facilities would have only last for another 15 days at most if it did not implement restrictions. NWC's acting president, Mark Barnett, made the disclosure on the Gleaner's Current Affairs program on the record. Barnett said the Mona Reservoir was at 32% of its capacity and the Hermitage Dam at 40% as of last Thursday. He said without the improvement of inflows and the restrictions implemented, water in storage will run out in 2 weeks.
We have instituted measures that will ensure that the stored available volume that are in these reservoirs, in the reservoir and the dam, will prolong as long as possible.
Water Minister Robert Pickersgill has announced a prohibition order on certain activities to force water conservation. The NWC has also implemented routine water lockoffs to save water. Under the prohibition order, persons are restricted from watering gardens, lawns, grounds, and farms. It also restricts persons from refilling or supplying tanks, ponds, or swimming pools, or from using water for anything apart from drinking, cooking, bathing, laundry, and sanitation.
The prohibition will remain in effect until further notice. Any person who contravenes this on summary conviction before a resident magistrate is liable to a fine and in default of payment to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 30 days.
On the international scene, at least 2 people are dead after a July 4 boat accident on the Ohio River. 9 people fell into the river off Louisville, Kentucky when a pontoon boat hit a barge and capsized. 3 were still missing early Monday.
Authorities around Louisville, Kentucky are still searching for 3 people missing in the Ohio River after a boat accident. 1 adult and 1 child are known dead after their pontoon boat hit a barge and capsized on Saturday night, dropping 9 people into the river's dangerous waters.
Even with this current that's out here on the river, if you were to get pinned against something, it's pretty hazardous.
4 people were rescued. 3 of them were children wearing life jackets.
So we assume the children were potentially wearing life jackets. Now, with the 1 child that is missing, I can't determine whether or not they were, wearing one.
Fire Chief Gregory Frederick says the river's currents are too strong for divers to help with the search. Debris is making things extra dangerous. The Louisville Police Department is now in charge of the search, which the fire chief says is shifting from a rescue to a recovery effort.
At some point, we have to look at, if we're not able to find any other clues or indications of somebody being out there, there's a point where we just have to terminate the operation.
The identities of those dead or missing have not been released. Sandy Kozel, The Associated Press.
Police say 47 people were shot in Chicago over the holiday weekend. 7 people were killed, including a 7-year-old boy. CNN's Ryan Young reports.
47 people shot, and that's since Friday. A lot of folks are focusing, though, on Amir Brown, the 7-year-old who was shot and killed while watching fireworks. Now, police believe his father was actually the target, but everyone can identify with the idea that a 7-year-old would want to watch fireworks, and then all of a sudden the gunfire hits, and it hits him in the chest, and he dies. Another woman was shot during that same shooting, but she survived. So everyone's talking about the gun violence in the area. In fact, police tell us over the last few days, they've been able to confiscate an illegal gun off the streets in Chicago every single hour. They have increased police forces out there, 12-hour shifts, but still the superintendent is very upset about the violence here on the streets.
If we don't hold criminals accountable, if people do not go to jail for illegal guns, if they do not fear the criminal justice system, if they feel repercussions from the gang that they belong to for losing the gun outweighs the criminal justice sanctions that they would be subject to, we're going to stay in the position that we're in.
And just living in the area, people are very upset about the shootings over the weekend. Look, 67 people were shot last year during the 4th of July, so you can see the numbers dropped just a little bit. But there was a headline June 1st I want to read you. June 1st, there was a headline, 161 people killed in 151 days. People are asking for changes, and it's a conversation that a lot of folks are having throughout the city.
And now for a look at the weather. Today will be sunny to partly sunny and slightly hazy with a low chance of a brief shower. Tonight will bring partly cloudy to cloudy conditions and some scattered showers. Surface high pressure will generate a moderate to brisk wind flow across the region. Few passing showers could also develop across the islands. Skies over the Leewards and Virgin Islands will be sunny and hazy with a chance of a few passing showers. Skies over these islands will be generally fair for tonight. The Windward Islands will be partly cloudy and hazy with few passing showers. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for watching. I'm Jason Davis. Have a great day.